let's talk about Amy Winehouse for a moment. The first time I ever came across Amy Winehouse was when she was blowing up off the Back to Black album. That was 2007, 8. My high school music teacher, who was like a jazz guy, was saying how much he loved that album, how like sick it was. And for him to say that, especially if he's like somebody who you're like looking up to, you're like, I better check this out. And it was great. She was great. She was fantastic. I became a fan of hers. So Amy Winehouse passed away 2011. The biopic came out, I think, like probably 2015. I remember that when the first like song that I was going to record is a song called Blackbird, or technically the last song on my first album. I was going through so many things right at that moment that I didn't even know if I could record, if I had it in me to record, if I had the sort of artist sensibility to even give it a shot, really. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought, let's try singing it in the style of Amy Winehouse. Now, when people would say that, they would probably think something like jazzy, a kind of jazzy run, or maybe something a bit like old school kind of jazz pop. But when I hear Amy Winehouse, I hear so much, in certain songs, I hear a woman who's in so much pain that she barely could finish her runs. It was so interesting seeing this woman who's so hurting, but then also kind of at the same time so in denial of it, and being like brushing it off later. She's like, I'm in really terrible pain. And then perhaps not knowing how to handle it the right way. Seeing that happen from, at that time, I wasn't even an artist, like when I was just listening to her music, but seeing that happen was really eye-opening, because it's like, this is somebody who's literally going through a traumatic experience. And we would later find out what those issues were in the documentary. But it was, at the time, it was like very obvious that this was a person who was not well and going through some serious stuff. And she was kind of like opening herself up to us, the audience, and almost like a cry for help. It felt like it was hard listening to it, because it was like reading somebody's diary. And you know that feeling when you read something that you're not supposed to read, or you see something you're not supposed to see, you kind of feel like, oh man, that was wrong. That wasn't for me. Certain songs felt like that because she was so brutally honest in a lot of her music. She was really good at conveying her pain. She was really good at making other people feel what her pain was. At least for me. I felt what her pain was so much that I was like, I can't listen to this. Then she passed away, and then the documentary came out, and man, that documentary was crazy because it shows all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. Her parents, it seemed like there was no like support structure for her or a safety net for her. And the one person she had as a support structure was a drug addict. It's tragic. It's absolutely tragic. And she's 27. She passed away when she was 27. And you're like on the cusp of adulthood as far as I'm concerned when you're 27. That song Blackbird, I was trying to do that. I was trying to convey my own pain in the style of Amy Winehouse. And up until that point, I was recording it over and over again, and it was not working. It was not coming out. It was not happening at all. And I figured, okay, well, let me try it in this style. And again, I don't know why I said Amy Winehouse, but I said, let me try conveying my pain like Amy Winehouse. Gave it a shot, and I recorded that song in 2 attempts. The song that's on the album is the second attempt, but it was all live. No auto-tune, no production or anything like that. It's just me and a guitar. I even up in the beginning of the song. Like in this song, I play what the passage was, and then I up, I go, oh, or something. And then I start again, and I'm like, leave it in there, whatever. I don't want to edit it. And I was able to perform it because I was, in my mind, doing my best impersonation of Amy Winehouse. So the next time I guess you listen to Blackbird, you'll hear me up at the start, and then you'll hear me for the rest of the song do an Amy Winehouse impersonation, which is why I don't sound like that ever again on any other song, which is funny. But hearing that was what made me, after I heard that back, I was like, okay, I don't suck. If I could fake my way through that song, I've got other songs in me. And then I was able to record the rest of my first album, which was, as we all know, Saudade and so on and so forth. When I hear her music now, I still hear the same pain that she was in, but with other artists that were clearly talking about pain, I could still listen to it. Like, for example, Chris Cornell. Black Hole Sun is a song about wanting to kill yourself, basically. And I love that song. But the fact that, I don't know why I never thought like, oh man, I can't listen to this. Maybe because he was a little bit more, I don't want to say poetic, but like he took a bit more liberties with his wording, in that it didn't necessarily make sense per se. It created a feeling, it created an imagery in your mind that you could associate with like a dark kind of thing. But Black Hole Sun, I could listen to that, and Chris Cornell killed himself. May he rest in peace. And then same for Chester Bennington. He's in Linkin Park, and you know, growing up, you You love Linkin Park. Everybody loved Linkin Park growing up. And then, you know, he killed himself too. And if you look at his lyrics, I've become so numb, I could feel you there. You know, he's talking about isolation, depression, all these things related to mental health. I don't know why I didn't feel dirty like I was reading his journal. As something about him, you know, maybe that's why she's being studied. Her lyrics are being studied in Cambridge, because like, I don't know why I feel like I'm reading somebody's diary when I listen to Amy Winehouse songs. Whereas with Linkin Park, maybe it's the production. It sounds maybe like very like produced. Not really. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe it's the genre too. I don't know what it is. So what we've learned today is that it makes 110% sense that Amy Winehouse's lyrics are being studied at Cambridge. Matter of fact, I think I need to go to Cambridge and take an online class to figure it out myself. It makes you think if there's like a price to be that great at something. Hope not. She was talented, and like most talented people, they don't stay long. Anyway, that's my rant on Amy Winehouse. May she rest in peace.